that tire down there on the pit lane after the bump and go with Ricky Craven a while back.
And since it's not all the way around the racetrack, you know it's somewhere up in that car where it knocked the inner panels out and probably up in the quarter panels and everywhere else.
Harvick will win his, though. He's an incredible race car driver. His crew chief, Todd Barrier, said, oh, another crash.
Mike Dillon finds the wall. Turn number 2.
That looked like Hank Parker Jr. there in the 53.
With him too. They were running in 14th and 15th at the time, and they get together and find the wall. Mike Dillon and Hank Parker Jr. They had a good run going, both of those guys did, in 14th and 15th spot.
You can see Dillon trying to make the car move, and it's hung up on the racetrack itself. The back is all the way down, and the front is dragging the racetrack. It won't move from there.
So at lap number 120, caution is out for the 6th time today. We do have the tail end of the wreck, I am told. There the two of them go up into the wall, and it will take Larry or Glenn talking with them to find out exactly who did what to whom.
Dillon in that 21 has had a really tough year with crashes. A huge fire and crash in Texas earlier in the year, crashed out of the Talladega race, and now this. He's not had a good time as far as meeting the record drivers in year 2000.
Larry, where are we now as far as cautions are concerned? Everybody pitted at lap number 88, and some of the fellows are saying they wanted to make this a one pit stop race. We're looking, figuring maybe a 3-lap caution or so here. We're looking at maybe 40 laps of yellow. What do you think? Oh, here they come. Some of the leaders are coming. What do you think?
Well, some of them pitted, but most of the guys right up near the front, they did stay out. I think it's cars that's kind of back in the pack that are actually pitting. They pitted with 112 laps to go, and that was right at the edge of what a lot of them told me they could run on fuel here. But the key is, since on lap 88, we've run more cautions than we have green, and you can conserve a lot more fuel under caution. You keep the butterflies of the carburetor closed, and you're not using as much fuel. So I'm going to say with 80 laps to go, 79 now, with these cautions, they no doubt can make it to the end. And again, Glenn said it, track position at Loudon, New Hampshire is everything. That's how Elton Sawyer won the race a year ago.
Indeed, that was the case, as you see the Mike Dillon machine being pushed onto the flatbed. The Stanley folks are here, not far from their plant in New Britain, Connecticut. Their guy's number 1. Hey folks, Popular Hot Rodding, your favorite performance magazine, is now on TNN. Hosts Cameron Evans and NHRA funny car driver Dean Scusa will dial you in on all of the latest performance trends and some killer feature cars. Don't miss Popular Hot Rodding each Sunday in May at 2:30 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, right here on TNN. Pit stop still for many of the runners, though not for the leaders. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
And I'm going to climb up on the ladder here and see if I can get a word with Billy Naswitz, see just exactly what their strategy is. Billy, the car looks to be as good as it was on the first set of tires, but what about fuel? Can you make it?
We keep getting some caution flags. We can make it. I do plan on stopping, though. Probably next caution.
Okay, you heard it right from Billy himself right there. They're not going to risk it. They know they've got a car. They really don't think that any of the rest of the guys can make it either on fuel. So therefore, if they feel like if they stop, that the rest of the guys will have to stop too.
That's going to be very, very interesting. That's what these strategies, that's what I like about this. Everybody's got their own idea, their own strategy. Hey, you fellas remember Ferrell Harris?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
He passed away this week. A lot of you folks who may be new to motor racing used to run NASCAR and ARCA, mostly at Daytona and Talladega primarily. He won the ARCA race at Daytona back in 1983. Ferrell had some heart problems over the last few years and passed away last week of a heart attack.
Yeah, he worked with Buddy Parrott for a while, and also Harry Hyde. So Ferrell had a lot of driving ability, and that's sad news to hear.
A lot of NASCAR folks this week. Herman Hickman, remember Herman Hickman from the North Carolina Speedway? He passed away, and certainly our condolences there. But on a much brighter note, we had mentioned earlier in the show that Kevin Triplett and his wife Jill had a child, and so did John and Nancy Andretti. They are parents again. Amelia Lois Andretti was born on Wednesday evening, and our congratulations to John and Nancy Andretti and the whole crew.
It's a nice family.
Yes.
They really are. They travel to the races together. It's a nice family.
Jason Leffler, you're looking in at him right there. You want to talk about sitting down in a car? Now he's down in there.
Well, he's just a little bit of a guy to begin with. I don't think he's 5'5" tall. We were talking a minute ago about his IndyCar deal. The sponsor of his IndyCar is Roger Penske's United Auto Group, 110 new car dealers. Here's a sponsor.
Larry Mack, we've heard from Glenn Jarrett's end of pit road. How about from what you're hearing? Fuel, who can go, who can't? What do you think?
Well, it's right there on the edge, Eli. I talked to Casey Atwood's crew. He said if we could get about 3 or 4 more caution laps, I think we can make it. I said, if you get them, are you thinking about pitting? He said, absolutely not. Now, on the other hand, I talked to Harold Holley with Jeff Green, and they was in a big huddle. It took me a minute to get in there, and he said, Larry, what would you do? I said, hey, that's the reason I like my Saturday job. You just tell me what you're going to do, and I'll talk about it. But I think they are thinking if they can get some cautions. I said, Harold, the only thing I'm going to inject, track position. Every position you lose with lap traffic, it's like losing 2 positions. It's hard to get back to the front.
Riding with Jason Leffler on the restart. Lap 127 of 200.
Ricky Craven there in the 23 making a little contact there with the lap cars as he's trying to get by on the outside.
NASCAR timing and scoring brought to you by Napa, where NASCAR fans get their parts. You see exactly where everybody's running, including that battle between Craven and Green, 4th and 5th.
Whoa, oh, Jason Jarrett.
Oh, Jason Jarrett really shortens up the car in 21st spot. That did say Rayovac. Now it just says Ray. That's how badly he's shortened up the race car. He is, as you see, moving around, so he's just fine. But caution 7, lap 127. Now remember, Gary Cogswell said he was going to pit at the next caution.
And for Glenn down in the pits, when the net is down and Jason looks to be moving around in the cockpit. But
caution for the 7th time today. Take a look at it again, see what happens. Don't know if he had contact with Borkowski. He was to the outside of him. Man, that was a wicked hit.
Thank goodness for the fuel cell that they have now. It's a rubber bladder tank instead of the old metal tank that we used to have. That would have been a serious fire just a few years back.
Another upset driver. Closing in on pit stops again here in New Hampshire.